Yeah, we back up in this motherfucker once again. The dopest motherfucking group to ever motherfucking grace this microphone. We coming home with this shit. Real motherfucking cheese. GS for gorilla. Hey, stack of Skrilla coming for the gorilla. Bunch of motherfuckers, they all gonna feel you. Drop a
Peace,
little shit.
peace, God.
What's going on? What it do? Back in this mofo once again, like
Man.
motherfucking NWO with MC
Hey,
Ren.
you see what I'm on? Practice makes perfect. It's that side wheel, great for telekinesis,
Oh
and
yeah.
and I'll be playing with this motherfucker for hours, so. But
Hey,
yeah,
you
we back.
mentioned on your the other day we was talking, you had mentioned the dude in Russia who you was be chopping up the game and practicing with. You remember that?
Oh yeah,
You know, in Russia was the ones who got the files from Germany after World War II on developing psychics. They
definitely,
the first ones came out with the remote viewing, and a lot of Russians learned how to tap into them psychic abilities
definitely,
because they went from family members that came home and taught that shit to their families.
definitely. Hey, and the first studies was on a Russian lady. I forgot. I think her name Kula, Dana Kula or something. It was a Russian lady, and it was in the 19 like 40s or 50s. On telekinesis, and they got documents on her all over the place. But yeah, them Russians tapped in. Them Russians tapped in. They pulling the cup, G. They pulling the cup like them Russians be pulling this. They'll have a cup on a motherfucker table and be pulling that motherfucker back and forth. And I'm at that level. You feel me? I just gotta practice, Joe. Practice makes excellence. But
Yeah.
Russians, we training with everybody. We training with people from Japan, China, but it's a Russian group chat, and I gotta translate. I gotta use my translator to even understand their conversation. Cause I'm like a sponge in there. I'll be soaking up as much knowledge as I can. Cause they some powerful motherfuckers. They tap in. You see that shit they doing? That shit almost gets spooky, Joe. Like this shit get spooky. Like hold on, y'all sure y'all ain't you feel me fucking with no spirits or none? Y'all what's y'all religious preference? I had to ask that first and foremost. What's our religious preference, man? But it ain't none of that shit, man. They ain't tapping into no spirits. They just practicing and developing their psychic mind. That's it.
Yeah, we all some psychic motherfuckers, but we told that we not. And anybody that start using a psychic ability, they start to ostracize them because people be spooked out because they say nobody can be psychic.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
the fact that they hold the belief that nobody can be psychic, that automatically by default, they told themselves to turn off their psychic ability.
Exactly. Hey, that's a fact. And like you said, we all got these psychic abilities, superpowers, but most of us don't have the time to develop them because we got jobs, wife and husband, kids, school. We don't have enough time to sit down and practice 2, 3 hours a day on telekinesis or telepathy, pyrokinesis, hydrokinesis. None of these abilities. We got them, but we just don't have the time to develop them. And that's what this shit takes. It's gonna take time and practice, man. The only way we gonna be able to master this type of shit is if we practice on it. It kind of gets
And
spooky though.
the only reason why you really need somebody to walk you through how it's done, so you can understand the technique, so you can start practicing.
Mm,
You
mm,
know, so because understanding the technique, like what I be doing when I be delivering information, I'm using a specific technique.
mm.
It's to trace the way that the subconscious algorithm works. So it make a person understand what I'm saying on a deeper level than just general conversation. The
Exactly.
negative side effect of that is some people hear it and it irritate all of their shadow work they didn't do.
Mm.
That shit start bubbling up from the bottom because I'm fucking with the base program,
Yep.
the root program.
Yep.
So that's why some people will lash out at me, call me all kind of devils and shit,
Yeah.
because I'm waking them up and I'm stirring up their inner turmoil.
They're
They
afraid.
call it your inner demons, but
Yeah.
it's all that shadow work they running away from. All the
Exactly.
shit they judging another motherfucker on, but they doing it, accusing the motherfucker of the shit they doing,
Exactly. Yep.
casting judgment and condemning motherfuckers, but
Yep.
they don't want to be condemned.
Exactly.
They don't want to be
Exactly.
judged. Fuck that shit. It's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street. You know, and the power, and a lot of people get it wrong. You know, people be like, "Yo, what good is that gonna do? How can if everybody got powers and shit? How we gonna save the world? They can't. That ain't gonna say." I'll be like, "Yo, it ain't to save the world. It's for self. You feel me? You help yourself, and if you choose to help others, you feel me? Do that. You feel me? But it ain't for. You feel me? On it's deep because like if nothing can bring us together, at least you feel me, us tapping into a greater source of consciousness can, but that can't even bring us together. So life just showing me that, hey, segregation is 100. Like for real, like I'm cool with segregation. Like all black people ain't my people. Them are gonna be the first niggas that snake me, that
All
lie.
skin folk ain't kin folk.
Exactly. They're gonna be the first to lie on you, to try to defame you, to try to fuck your wife when you locked up, to go hit your stash spot if something happened to you. They the first person at your stash. All type of shit. It's like we gotta connect with those who on the same vibration as us, the same spiritual path. And that's how I try to base my relationships with everybody. It has to be on a spiritual foundation. A lot of people get together because of money, but I feel like that's like one of the weakest. Business is a weak foundation, you know, to build on with somebody. You feel me? Like because it don't hold no weight. Once the money going or the business fuck up, then y'all relationship down the drain. But if we on the same spiritual path, we gonna get money together and we gonna probably starve together. But we still 100 and we still got each other at the end of the day. Like for real.
Hey, as soon as you understand that when two of y'all get together on the same spiritual path, you can program your egregore, which is your mastermind group that create a separate mind that go ahead of y'all and open up the path.
Mm.
So look, get Law of Success in 16 Lessons by Napoleon Hill. He
Law of
got a
success.
chapter in there. Yeah.
Okay.
He got a chapter in there called the Mastermind Group. This is also critical for tribal development to understand this concept and how it works. Because once you set the intention between two people, y'all create a third psychic mind that go ahead of y'all and find the path to the idea that y'all put in it to find.
Mm.
So every time y'all come together, y'all find yourself pushing each other closer to the goal because the egregore comes back and tell each person the role it got to play.
Egregore. That's what I'm
That's
saying
the
on
thought
phone.
form.
That's what I was saying on my mom. Hey, I heard you mention quantum entanglement. It's something that I use called photonic entanglement when we doing telepathy, not telekinesis. But photonic entanglement has to occur in order for that telepathic connection to take place. What is quantum entanglement, though? I know what it is, but I just want to see your perspective on it because it's deep, though.
So the proton, I think it's the protons. No, it's electrons. So when two electrons
Atoms.
are yeah,
Two atoms
when they
fusing, right?
quantumly entangle, yeah.
Okay.
But they start off at the smallest element they can make the quantum entanglement. So they do the spin on the electron. They quantumly entangle. One gonna spin left to right, the other gonna spin right to left. Now, no matter how far apart you move them, if you make the other one use a magnetic field to make it switch its position at the same time, no matter what the distance is, It's called quantum space. Across quantum
Yeah,
space, the space between atoms, these things are still connected
still connected.
without a
Yep,
string attached,
exactly. So
right?
the other one gonna
So,
correspond even if it's light years away. Two atoms
yeah,
being split, they still gonna correspond no matter how far the distance. And this
they
is
gonna mirror each other.
exactly, and this is deep because like this is exactly what happens in telepathy, G, like for real. But it's like from my understanding of TP telepathy, you feel me? Telepathy occurs once uh two or more parties have established that telepathic connection. So if I'm telepathic and my God is telepathic, you feel me? We established a connection, a telepathic connection. We able to communicate, you feel me, on a mental level now. But what if I was telepathic and that person wasn't telepathic? In my opinion, it would be impossible to communicate with somebody that's not telepathic because it has to be a connection. How you feel about that?
Everybody telepathic. Only reason we not using telepathy more is because Tahuti wrote language.
Mm,
Before Tahuti wrote language, there was no language. So we didn't do a whole lot of speaking. We did a whole lot of man-to-man
okay,
thought
okay.
transference of information.
So you talking about during the time of like Pangea, pre-continental drift, when the Earth was connected?
No, this is Atlantean days. We was telepathic in Atlantis.
Okay,
We was telepathic. We telepathic now. We just use we become atrophied in our telepathic abilities by using our verbal communication, overriding our psychic links.
yeah,
So it's the
animals.
same as if you don't lose your legs, the motherfuckers gonna shrivel up.
Hmm. Animals are
This is what
highly
happened to
telepathic.
your telepathy. Now, somebody who's not getting the telepathy might have a clogged heart chakra
Mm.
because
That's
the telepathic connection is a sympathetic link that comes through empathy, and the
okay,
empathy has to be a heart-to-heart connection on the
right,
love channel, right? And the love channel gives you the ability to talk heart-to-heart communication, but it comes into abstract sensory reception, right brain.
right,
And we balance that out with our counterpart as we give them guidance. They feed us back the empathy and the gratitude that opens our abstract connection to them up to create a circuit, an energy circuit of mutual exchange. The gratitude enhances the love power tenfold. Reciprocity after the gratitude increases it another tenfold, right? So that makes the original act amplified now at 10 to the 10th power, right?
so when
So
we dealing,
once the energy is that strong between two people, telepathic communication is nothing.
exactly. So when we dealing with the heart chakra, you know, the heart chakra, like chakra means the wheel. Chakra is an ancient word for a wheel, but in modern times, chakras are energy focal points. We got 78 chakras, but seven main chakras. We have seven main organs. So I correlate the seven chakras being to the seven main organs that we have. Now, we have the heart chakra, and the heart is a main vital organ. So if my heart chakra is clogged up, how I teach, like how would I be able to activate my heart chakra? Well, do things that works on the heart. We know running, this strengthens up the heart. So this will be a way to activate the heart chakra. You feel me? If you correlate each chakra with each organ, you know, it's deep though. How you feel about that though, bro? You feel like that would be like accurate?
Okay, so the chakras are actually stemming from the spine. It's actually what's called a nerve ganglia that creates the vortex of energy that becomes the chakra wheel. Right? Now, in the field, like the nerves that come from the spine, they connect to organs. Right? So when you're talking root chakra, you're talking prostate in men, you're talking cervix in women.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When you're talking second chakra, you're talking intestines. Third chakra, you're talking diaphragm.
Okay.
Fourth chakra, heart chakra, there's a nerve ganglia, but what most people don't know that the nerves that come through the heart chakra also connects to the liver.
With the heart chakra and the liver?
And then the throat chakra is after the heart chakra, and that's synced with a gland, right? And right below that gland, you have something called a thymus, right? And the thymus is responsible for giving instructions to T cells to fight off infection, right? And then your sixth chakra, third eye, right? So this your 369 turnaround. Your third eye chakra, the nerve center that the energy comes in is actually the black dot Richard King talked about at the base of the spine. We was talking about that earlier. In the reticular formation is the nerve ganglia, and this is where you enter, your consciousness enters the body upon awakening, right? The goal is
upon awakening, like coming from
right. So let's say, for instance, you was asleep. Mm-hmm. Most of your brain is operating at minimum capacity.
Facts.
Right? But when you first open your eyes to wake up and your senses begin to come back, the electromagnetic pulse from the brain begins at the reticular formation and moves to the prefrontal lobe. Right? So this is where your third eye is centered on the black dot. Now, the crown chakra is the anterior gyrus on the brain. And it's right to the right of the head right here. Right? And the anterior gyrus is like a satellite receiver in the brain.
So, you talking about like, okay, I know exactly what you mean, bro. You're talking about like
now,
like the
in order for the
Sokai, right?
Right. So now, in order for the third eye to be utilized, you have to activate the pineal gland. The pineal gland is activated through causing the brain to have hallucinations. Right? You make the brain produce its own chemical, DMT. The DMT, in turn...
How do you do that?
It's meditation. Meditation does it. That's why they meditate.
That's why you're an ascended master, because that's absolutely right. Meditation, you feel me? Not just any meditation, but an intense breathing techniques can secrete small spikes of dimethyltryptamine and ascended master, because people don't know, they looking for the external substance when all the substances is within. You feel me? We have a DMT trip, man. So like, is some of our dreams like be DMT trips? Like for real, they be so vivid and we forget we are in a fucking dream. Those real dreams, that's DMT, dimethyltryptamine secreting. We got big.
Now the goal is
dimethyltryptamine.
What'd you say?
Now, so we got Benji in here. What's up, though? He say,
Benji,
man, hey, he don't want to see no TK, man. Hey, man, they know I'm the guy with
man,
this shit. I do real
yeah,
TK, man, like
look,
for real. I'm the guy with
yeah,
this shit,
Benji,
Joe. Oh, for that.
Benji be talking that shit, but I love that nigga to death. I
Man,
just,
he hates you, man. You gotta
I
love,
just,
hey, you gotta love him, no shit. Even though a motherfucker hates you, shit, it's all well.
mm. Look, Benji don't hate me for real.
That's
He
when the
don't hate me.
feeling be
He don't
good.
hate me for real. He's just trying to make me make a certain move, and then he got carried away with himself. So
Man, but
he cool. He did what he supposed to do. He
man,
made sure the Vikings got their shit back. I tell you that.
hey, man, that's why I said like we ain't got time for all that extra shit. Like it's plenty motherfuckers out here doing the shit that he accusing motherfuckers accusing you of, accuse me of. It's real niggas out here that's doing that shit. Like once you lie
Yeah.
on a motherfucker, then your word is no longer credible. You feel me? Once we found out you just making up lies on people, like man, Joe, like that's why that shit ain't even nothing to play with.
Hey, look.
I
Remember, it's about information exchange. If we grew up in the culture where we always been lied to, somebody got to tell some lies in order for us to continuously read our way out of this shit. But sometimes a person had good intentions, but they make the wrong moves. We read the move and the
I
intention behind it. If you think they're doing something right, I can work with that.
No, hey, it's all hey, I ain't got no bad energy towards no motherfucker on the internet. You feel me? Like because that shit take away, that shit drain the energy. Anyways, you're like, and I'm dedicated to telekinesis. I practice every day. When I'm dealing with trolls on the internet, man, that shit slow me down from my practice. It slow my development down. Man, it be throwing me off from the journey, from the tribe and everything. So I ain't got I'd rather just, you feel, if we can squash some shit, we can squash that shit. I'd rather squash it before a motherfucker really have to get for real. Because the black man ain't my enemy, you feel me? Nobody is my enemy. You know, we consider this poor or middle class, man, the rich motherfuckers. Them motherfuckers, you feel me, targeting us. You feel me? So it's like we fighting a whole different war. They attacking us and we attacking each other. What we gonna do? Kill each other? They gonna win. They gonna win if we go that route.
Look, them motherfuckers ain't gonna never win fucking with me because I'm always find a way. Look, they control me all they want, dog. My give a fuck meter, like I'm with the shits, you know. I get into the low vibrational shits from here, you know. When it's
That's what
gonna
I'm
serve a
saying.
purpose.
Can't be playing.
When it's
Hey,
gonna serve a purpose. Listen,
can't be
when
playing
it's
with
gonna
niggas
serve
like
a
that.
purpose, I use it. But when the purpose is up, I'm done with it. I'm gonna go on from it. I don't care what a motherfucker continue on with that shit for the next 10 years. I don't give a fuck, man. I did what I
Hey,
needed to do with the information at the time that it came in order for me to read the signs that was written on the wall. So when I got done reading the hieroglyphics, I took that shit and flipped it and went ahead and executed the motherfucking plan. All right, that shit ain't personal to me. Strictly
so
business.
let me ask you something though, OG. So I want your honest opinion, bro. Cause I know you fuck with the arts, you feel me, Joe. So I ain't gonna say no names because I don't even want to bring Shorty up or give her no attention. But this witch tried to spellbound me the last strawberry moon. You feel me? Well known person, but most people don't know she a witch. But I knew she was a witch because I knew the arts that she was practicing. But so when she tried to
Drag
do
that
it, you
bitch
feel me?
out.
Like we protected. You feel me?
Drag her
Look,
ass out.
bro. Look, I'm finna tell you. Look, G, I'm finna tell you, Rod. So I go to my cosmic sister, the master teacher's sister, Uma York. You feel me? How Uma check her temperature. Sis told me, man, you good. You ain't gotta even worry about shorty. That shit, that energy that she sent to you went right back to her. You protected. So it's like, man, I'm already knowing I'm protected because I know the spirit work me and my goddesses put in. We protection spell rituals to protect us from all evil energy. And then it's getting returned back to the sender. But that wasn't good enough. I'm like, man, Joe, she playing these games. I should send some energy back at her. But it's like, you know what? I can't even do that because I know that energy gotta come back to me. Like, would have if somebody try to put magic on you, would you try to use magic on them? Because what I teach, under no circumstances are we to use our powers for evil purposes. You feel me? Under no circumstances. I don't care if they did that to us. We get them back another way. You feel me? Only use our powers for healing. You feel me? But like, would it be okay for me to use magic or put, you feel me, send some energy somebody way that tried to do the same to me? Like, would that be justified by the ancestors?
You got different
You know you gonna keep it
ancestors
real, OG.
with different views, right? The ancestors that I come from, we don't even get into that shit. I don't got time to be doing no motherfucking candle ritual on no motherfucking nigga. I don't got time for that. I don't got time to go burn no incense on nobody and write no motherfucking shit on no paper. I don't got time. I got other shit that I could be doing to progress myself where I don't even need that shit. So you know what I do instead of sending spells at motherfuckers? I wish everybody well, and anybody that send me the spell, with all due respect, I send
Go to
that back
hell.
shit back with a reject.
He
I don't
said,
want
hey, with
none.
all due respect,
I
go
don't
to
want none
hell.
of that. Yeah, I don't want none of that. So you can keep it. And when it go back to them, it's gonna be
Yeah,
amplified and multiplied. So I don't.
yeah.
That's why I don't
Cause
wish bad on motherfuckers.
that shit gotta come back to you. And a lot of people that practice that shit and use their powers for evil, they know that this energy, this negative energy that I send out is gonna return to me. And they okay with that. That whatever we do is gonna come back to us. You feel me? And the evil energy that we put out, it come back to us even harder. And it's deep. We gotta be careful. So that ain't nothing to play with. That's why a lot of people that's deep into that shit, they fucked up. Motherfuckers go blind fucking with these rituals and shit. Lose a leg, a hand. Just weird shit be happening. And they the one who putting the energy on everybody. But it's fucking them up because that energy coming back to them. Like, this shit be deep, man. But yeah, though. So yeah, Joe. I just want to know your opinion. What if I would have sent some energy back to this bitch way, G? Like, would that would have been justified? Because we know that.
It depended on your it depended on your intent. You got one of the laws of nature is the right to defense. Defensive magic has always been a part of our practice, which takes us to some of our other ancestors, the ones that fall up under Shango and the ones
The
that fall
Orishas.
under yeah. So these ancestors, the energy in our DNA is all they are. But some of them, if you do something to them, oh baby, they gonna send that
Oh
shit
yeah,
back. They
hell
gonna send
yeah.
some hot shit
That's what
behind it.
that's what I'm saying. And
They
then
gonna
look,
send.
and then look, bro, like, she a witch, G. She practiced witchcraft. And we connected to the ancestors. The difference between voodoo and witchcraft, both of them contain not roots. Roots is knowledge of the plant, astrology, and geography. You feel me? So to do voodoo requires the same thing, and witchcraft requires the same thing: roots, astrology, and geography. Now, and alchemy. Now, the only difference is voodoo requires an ancestral connection as well. With a witches practicing witchcraft, they don't need to be connected to the ancestors. That's why witchcraft ain't that, it ain't strong as voodoo. That voodoo or that Ifa, that spirit work gonna hit heavier, and it's gonna hit fast and harder because of the ancestral connection. And that's why I tried to tell her, like, you over here using your powers for evil purposes, don't even know, G. And then she very deceiving. Like, she'll get on here and try to lie to it. She try,
So
G,
a little bit different,
this
a
shit
little bit
crazy.
different in witchcraft, right?
Yeah.
Witches do ceremonies in nature that tie them to the ancestor of nature. They don't use like the Orisha formula or the Ifa formula that we might use,
Nah, they don't.
but they use a different formula and they use a different ritual because they come from a different generation, a different era. So
Witches
they
are
have
very
to,
wise. They very wise.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like witches are
So
very
they
wise.
had to learn a different technique from the priests to teach them how to balance themselves to the earth, or else right now, them motherfuckers would be spontaneous combusting all over this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
The
And that
whole,
sparked
the whole thing, all of this.
that sparked the Salem witch trials, right, bro? Not to cut you off, but you heard
No,
about
the Salem witch trials was sparked because there was a black woman called a mammy, and she was teaching the European girls that was over here about the conjure and how to tune in to the land. She was giving them ceremonies,
Sarah Barter
baptizing them,
with Sarah Barter.
right?
Yep.
So she was giving them ceremonies that gave them earth rights from their mitochondria. She was transferring a heredity, and they was trying to kill them all off. They didn't get them all, but they was trying to get them all, kill them all off. This was part of the hunt for Scotta.
Mm.
That was part of the hunt for Queen Scotta, the redhead princess.
You know, the Salem witch trials, it started in North America, and I think it was around the 1500s. No, the 1800s. Salem witch trials in the 1800s, and then expanded all the way to North America Europe. But it was like they was motherfuckers that was caught practicing the art of witchcraft was getting burnt on the stake. And it's like they was accusing a lot of black people, black women of witchcraft that wasn't even guilty. And that's what make it so fucked up. They was accusing a lot of Native American women and African women that was over here of witchcraft, and
Right.
they wasn't even
That was the
practicing it.
hunt for, that was the hunt for our priestesses.
Mm,
They hunted our priestesses down in the witch hunts, and they hunted the chiefs down in warfare, civil war. They transferred from civil war, they went into what's called domestic warfare. They declared war on us, and we forgot.
definitely,
They said we
definitely.
would, that we would never be able to be part of their system, and we would always be perpetual enemy combatants in their court system, and they continuously issuing war rants, ongoing declarations of war against us as a people.
Hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, even when the colonizers came over here from foreign lands, you know, they was getting sick. You know, they fresh off the motherfucking boat. That motherfucker took however long, 6 months, 2 years, whatever it took to get over here. And they was getting off that motherfucker sick. They was getting healed by the native elders. You feel me? And these
Medicine
motherfucker
man.
Europeans, these colonizers was calling them witch doctors. Exactly, but they was calling them witch doctors. The Europeans, the colonizers was
Yeah.
calling them witch doctors, and this was who was healing them when they got off the boat. They was damn near dead. They didn't half their crew done died off on the trip, so they get off the boat hanging on their last lifeline. They getting healed. Then you got 100 years later,
Hey,
now they
look,
calling them witches.
you remember in school them teaching about a condition called the rickets that the sailors used to get
Mm. Oh, definitely.
from
Yep.
being deficient in vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, it was the Seminoles who gave them the oranges to cure the rickets.
Mm. Seminoles, like in Florida, in the Florida area, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is before they realized that they was being invaded.
Mm.
They came over here with friendly faces that looked like us, but they wasn't us.
Definitely wasn't.
And
Definitely
they was
wasn't.
hiding behind pale faces that they was having talk for them, and we believed that the pale faces was the ones doing the talking. We
Definitely.
figured out that the pale face was talking for somebody else in some of the meetings, so we made sure all of the chiefs understood pale face speak with forked tongue.
Mm. Definitely. And that's why I don't even like, I ain't gonna even lie, bro. I think we talked about this like previously a while back though. I don't even really subscribe to nationality. You know, nationality is a made up thing. It was put on. our indigenous ancestors. Indigenous people didn't have a nationality, and that's a Babylon thing. Babylon, I identify Babylon as the cities that were built after colonization. So, colonizers come to these new lands. At first, it was forests, jungles, and woods. In North America, we ain't got jungles, we got forests. So, national parks and shit. Yellowstone National Park, that's like the last of the real forest that's been here since the beginning of the time. And everything else is like buildings and shit. So, the cities that were built, when they went in the forest and tore down nature and built their cities up, and then they conquered these indigenous people and then brought them into the slave system. Now they slave nationality on them. The pinnacles of Babylon is the city that we live in. A lot of us stopped being Christians and Muslims. All right, and I was just telling my goddesses this. A lot of us stopped being Christians and Muslims, and then we fall into nationality. We run into the Hebrews. The Hebrews tell us, you are a Hebrew. This isn't a religion. This is your nationality. You're from the tribe of Issachar. You're from the tribe of Benjamin. You feel me? You got the Moors on your other shoulder. Like, yo, you a Moor. You feel me? So if I subscribe to being a Hebrew, I have to worship and accept Yahweh as being my creator. Back to the religion monotheism. And if I accept Islam, being a Moor as my nationality, then I have to accept Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the Muslims call him. You feel me? As the creator of the boundless universe. So all these nationalities is slowly bringing us back into religion. You feel me? A lot of us don't even realize that, like, it's attached to religion, man. Because if I'm a Moorish American, I have Circle 7 Quran. And I'm supposed to be going after the ways of the Prophet, which was Noble Drew Ali. You feel me? And he was Muslim or Muslim. You feel me? So nationality is gonna bring us back into religion, and religion is a Babylon thing. Our indigenous ancestors. We talking about when bro was talking about like Atlantis. We ain't speak English, none of that shit. Man, they didn't have nationalities, religion. They had schools of thought. They had temples. Deep, because in the Emerald Tablets, bro, like the Dweller, I fuck with the Dweller. You feel me? In the Emerald Tablets, and he ain't really spoke on that much. But the Dweller is the teacher of Tahuti. This is where Tahuti learned from. He learned a great deal of wisdom from the Dweller, and the Dweller is the one who sank the islands of Atlantis. The Dweller is the one who sank the islands of Atlantis, because that portal had got opened up from the underworld and evil forces was coming in. So they sunk it and flew to Egypt or Kemet. But the Dweller is the Dweller deep, man. Like what's your perspective on a Dweller, bro, in the Emerald Tablets? I meant to ask you that, though.
That's Big Mama.
Man, that's Big Mama. That's Big Mama. Hey, bro, say that's Big Mama. Hell yeah, those shit. And then
so Tahuti in the Emerald Tablets, Tahuti talk about how he enjoyed spending time with his father, and then he enjoyed spending time with his mother, and then he went to go to the Dweller in order to gain wisdom. That's Big Mama.
His father.
Because at the feet of the masters, right? In old culture, and this is the reason why we learn how to call the energy Big Mama. In old culture, when you wanted your child to learn how to be wise, you let him be raised by elderly women, right? So when you look in, the ones who have to be blessed in by matriarchs. So all of the matriarchs sent for him, and they all teach him something or learn something from him in order to teach him how to move wisdom through the community, right? So the children started calling her the Big Mama because she was bigger than Mama in the family because she was the matriarch, right? So she was not mama, she was the big mama. And the big mama don't always have to be blood related to you. But you got to
It
go
don't.
spend your time with her in
Every
order to
night.
learn what you have to learn.
Every night. Hey, is it cool to say that Big Mama energy is that unconscious sleep, that thing that pulls us under and it's pulling you under right now. That's Big Mama that's pulling you under. You tired. You finna KO in a minute. And Big Mama is the same energy that wakes us up also, right? Would it be safe to say that? That's
Them is
same.
probably two of her daughters at work.
Okay,
Big
okay,
mama
okay.
energy is the energy to tell you if you take your dumb ass down that street, you going to jail, nigga. Don't go.
Mm,
And you don't listen and take your ass down that street and go to jail. That was Big Mama telling you don't take your dumb ass down there, and you ain't want to listen.
okay, definitely. All right, yeah, that definitely.
It sounds like she's talking
Definitely.
right next to you. That comes from lifetimes and lifetimes of listening to Big Mama. So when she talks to you, you know the voice. But sometimes, mama boys get a little rebellious and too big for their britches. So mama got to sit them down and have a talk with them. But she ain't going to sit you down when she using the forces of nature. She going to use whatever the circumstances of the society is
Oh
to
yeah.
put you in the condition that you need so you can learn how to listen, motherfucker,
Yeah.
when I'm talking.
Yeah, she gonna tear that ass up. For
Man,
real.
tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Definitely, definitely, definitely,
Shit.
Joe. Definitely, man. All right, so yeah, that Big Mama energy, that's like source consciousness. That's zero. Hey, then we back at 0 point. That's the eternal awareness of everything. Like you feel me? The
Yeah.
reason for everything is Big Mama on my mom. So I get it. I get it. No, it ain't a hard concept to grasp or wrap your mind around. It's very, you feel me? It's very resonating because it makes sense. You feel me? And it hold a lot of validity. It's valid. You know, it's deep though. Just seeing many different ways to articulate the creative force. That's within you. That's within me. You feel me? That we embody. So, I definitely identify man as being God, but you have to have divine knowledge of self in order to vibrate on this consciousness, this level of awareness. It's a certain level of awareness. You feel me? Anybody with divine knowledge of self is God. We can't be God without that. Once we have that, now it's levels to becoming God. It's God's on a lower level, and then you have levels, higher levels that you can ascend to. So it's deep though. But just knowing, you feel me, that once you die, Rod, we all die. You feel me, Joe? Once you go to sleep, we all fall asleep. The only reason I can be seen right now is because you watching. Only reason I can be heard is because you listening. So without your observation, I cease to exist in your reality. You are the creator. And that concept applies to every single soul on this reality that's experiencing life. But we have to understand that and fully know that, to be able to control the reality that we create. Is deep, man. Big Mama energy
Look,
manifests in many forms.
yeah. So you got the opportunity when you're young to determine your future life path. The purpose of the elders is to teach the youth how to find their best life,
Mm,
right? But they told us that we had to use physical discipline called spanking to teach the children. That's not
mm-hmm,
true. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
mm-hmm,
Discipline is necessary, but that's not necessarily discipline.
mm. Okay,
You know,
definitely.
the discipline come in is how early can you get the child's attention to focus on you?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you can get your child to focus on you, then your child can start to understand you faster and you can understand your child.
Fact.
And the
Spare the
earlier
rod,
you do it,
spoil the child.
the more influential, because you don't want to You don't want to like make the kid like handicapped. You want them to be able to think for themselves. They want us to be able to follow orders and instructions. We want our children to be independent thinkers. So we got to be able to get their attention early enough in order for them to focus when we give the guidance.
Facts on for no. Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, that's important for our community to know that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It be deep, man. So it's like, knowledge of self. I feel like, religion takes away our powers. You know, and that's another thing, like, okay, like with the whole black woman is God thing. Again, God is divine knowledge of self. It really don't have to do with gender, hair follicle, or skin texture, skin pigment. It's a certain level of awareness. I like to correlate, Adam and Eve, you feel me? Adam and Eve, before they ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they wasn't gods. But they ate from that tree. That tree gave them divine knowledge of self. Because soon as they ate the apple or the fruit, their eyes became open and they realized they were naked instantly. This is knowledge of self. Then Yahweh asked them, who told you can eat from the tree? Then he said, behold, man and woman have become one of us. Us is the Elohim, which is gods in plural in Hebrew. You feel me? Many gods in Hebrew. So God said, Adam and Eve, man and woman have become one of us. The gods knowing good and evil. So that fruit gave them divine knowledge of self. And even God said they become like us, gods knowing good from evil. And a lot of people don't understand. Not to say that I subscribe to that, but I'm just using that passage to explain a concept. You feel me? Because it's a direct correlation. They wasn't gods at first, but that fruit gave them divine knowledge of self, and they realized they were naked. This is the first thing. They didn't even know they were naked. That's how we know they didn't have knowledge of self. As soon as they gained knowledge of self, they became gods. So God is divine knowledge of self. That's the best way I can put it. And a white person can embody this. A white person can have divine knowledge of self. It's people in the Far East that's ascended to high states of consciousness, way beyond we can fathom. And they got melanin in their skin, but they don't have coily hair. So they not 9 ether. They have long, straight black hair. They're 6 ether. So we know they not black people, we know they not black people because they ether strands is 6 ether is straight. So, but they ascended way past levels of spiritual consciousness than we can ever imagine. So this tells me, like, I've ran into Caucasian people, white people that's highly spiritual and have, you feel me, dove to the pinnacles of, consciousness. You feel me? I've ran into all type of people. So I don't really put I used to teach the same thing. The black man is God. The black woman is God. But like, as I matured on my spiritual journey in the wisdom, man, life showing me like it ain't even got nothing to do with skin color. Anybody can become God as long as they get divine knowledge of self. They deserve to become God. It's
So
deep.
when we say the black woman is God again, we referring, when you look in the sky at night and the dark shit that you see between the stars, that's the black woman. That's the infinite womb of creation. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about Big Mama. The primordial noon where all things emerge, right? Now, Big Mama is represented in the pantheon by the zoo type of a hippopotamus-headed female with breasts of a woman, right? And I think she got like lion's feet or some shit.
This
But her,
comedic science.
yeah, And then
That's Nanette.
Egypt,
You mean Nanette? That's
Tawaret.
okay.
Tawaret.
Okay.
Now, if you watch that new series that came out recently called Moon uh Moon something, it's on like Netflix. And they got a depiction of her driving the boat across the desert sands,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So, but that's the imagery we use to give us the description of Big Mama. In
Okay.
Europe, the oldest depiction of Big Mama was called the Venus of Warlendorf.
Fact. Okay.
Right? So when you look, you see she's a hippie woman, heavy in the hips, with breasts, and she got nappy ass hair, or what we would call short dreads. Right? So
Nine ether.
when we look at that,
Nine ether.
these are symbols for the nine ether Shakti or noon or dark matter energy that emerged in a sentient being form, right? And the first creation of the human was feminine or female. And they used to reproduce parthogenically.
Parthenogenic. Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. When a female can have an offspring without getting her egg
So,
fertilized. Definitely.
right. So the women asked Prime Creator if it was all right for them to create men from themselves so they could have counterparts. So this is when they say they divided up the sexes, right? Because the energy that's coming into the planet is morphing the planet from an all feminine planet to a dual gender planet. And this is all part of what's called the divine plan. The dual gender planet is for the man and the woman to work together. And somebody hijacked the species. They hijacked University Earth in order to override the rules to the game. So what they did, instead of overriding the rules, they played with the rules upside down and backwards. And that's what kept us all fucked up.
Yeah, that shit deep, man. Man, I see you finna go to sleep, man. Hey, I do, man. G, I ain't finna do shit, man.
Oh yeah, I'm about to get ready to cut out
I
my.
see.
Hey, but really, I ain't as sleepy as you think I am. I was smoking the heavy ass blunt when I
Oh
started.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
So
okay, okay. No, I'm
I'm
thinking you
really
finna
all up in
crash
the
up.
ethers and shit.
Astro travel. So speaking of that, so facts. So I teach like as far as like astro travel. Would this resonate with you? So besides, it's deep because like it's I'm gonna just get straight to it. So astro travel, astro projection. Let's just say that. Astral projection is when you have an intentional out of body experience. So,
hmm
but if I went to sleep while astral projecting, then this would be a regular dream. If I went to sleep and I astral projected in my sleep, this would be considered as a regular dream. But if I was to go into a dream state while awake, well, this is considered astral projection. So, what's the difference between astral projecting and dreaming? The difference is sleep and awake. Because again, if I was asleep, bro, if I was asleep and I astral projected, this would be considered just a regular dream. But if I was in a dream state while awake, this is considered astral projecting. So the difference between astral projecting and dream is awake and sleep. If I'm awake and I can go into a dream state while awake, this is astral projection. What's the, what's the times that we go into the dream state while awake? When we daydreaming, daydream is astral projection. This is basically what I'm getting to. Daydream is astral projection. You feel me? Probably never even heard of it that way, but it's very true and it's very valid, you know. And it, according to astral projection, what astral projection is when you have an out of body experience, which considers which requires an astral body to travel the astral planes. So we need an astral body in order to astral project. This is a fact. Now, when we daydreaming, you can be driving a car for 2 hours, hand behind a wheel, stopping at stop signs, red light, but your mind is somewhere else. You're inside of another body, and your physical body is behind the wheel, but you're controlling another body the whole ride. I'm mostly daydream when I'm driving, and I'll be looking up, like when I get to the destination, I look back like, yo, I wasn't even driving. I was doing something else. It's like this whole ride. So that's a form of astral projection. And a lot of people like, yo, because they come, I get a lot of reflections that come to me like, yo, how can I astral project? And I say, do you daydream? When you daydreaming, that's a form of astral projection. Like, you know, would that resonate though?
So, from my understanding, the major difference between a dream and astral projection is dealing with the intentions and the awareness.
Okay.
If you're dreaming, you're not aware you're dreaming until you awake.
Exactly.
If you astral traveling, you're aware you in the dream world the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That gives you control in the dream world.
Yep.
And if you fix it in the fourth dimension, it has to get fixed in the third. It's the trickle-down effect.
Definitely.
It's a trickle-down effect.
So someone
So
said,
the dream state is a side effect of the third dimension and the fourth dimension collapsing into each other. So you in two dimensions at the same time, your system has to adjust, adapt in order for it to survive.
Well, it definitely, I mean, that would be a tesseract, right? Because like a tesseract, when we're speaking in dimensional terms, a tesseract is the extra layer that's added onto the dimension. So the reason we move from 2D to 3D is because the extra layer, which is the extra dimension, which is the tesseract, which made us, you feel me, brought us into 3D. So in order to go from 3D, you say the third and the 3D and the 2D is merged together. That's what you just said, right?
4.
Okay,
3 and 4.
3 and the 4 is merged together. That would
That's
be like
why
the
we was in
tesseract.
an infinity loop.
Ooh, hold on. According to the science, though, because I fuck with dimensions and realms and everything, like down to a T, but according to the science, and that just, hey, you just sparked my mind. So the third mixed in, merging in with the fourth dimension, this can bringing us into the fifth dimension, because the tesseract for the third dimension was the fourth dimension. And this is how we raise in dimensions by the tesseracts, the extra layers. They merging together can bring us into the fifth. If you get it.
We figured out a long time ago, like so when you're reading about the masters of the Far East, the masters of India,
Mm-hmm.
the masters of Asia, right? They all knocking on this reality, trying to find out how to fix this problem that we got that got us stuck in an infinity loop, which is the side effect of time.
Mm.
We only got time because we in the infinity loop. When we step out of the infinity loop, the life is different in the 3D because we become more controllable of the creation itself. We be in more control of it. Right? 30 seconds is about to cut out. And so the whole system collapsed fourth and the third like a slinky, and you pinching two of the pieces together, and we on the inside making the figure eight around the two. Going up the fourth, down the top of the third to the bottom.